A very good evening and a warm welcome to our first edition of UBC News Tonight on this 6th day of February 2025. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimotoi. Now, before we get into our news bulletin this evening, let's first take a look at the top stories tonight. In our top stories tonight, President Museveni reaffirms commitment to peace and economic growth at the 44th Tarehe Sita celebrations. Deputy Speaker of Parliament Thomas Tebo appeals to the Indian community to invest in Uganda. Deadline for voter registration and update exercise set for the 10th of February. And the National Unity Platform vets Kawempe North by-election candidates. Good evening once again. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimotoi. President Yoweri Museveni has affirmed commitment towards peace and economic progress. Now, this was during the 44th Tarehe Sita celebrations held in Chotera district. Now, earlier, the Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, affirmed Uganda People's Defense Forces' readiness to consolidate Uganda's peace and security against internal and external aggression. Muhoozi also cited the pacification of Somalia, Karamoja, and weakening of ADF as key achievements of UPDF in keeping Uganda peaceful beyond borders. We have the details.
For lack of a better word, here at Tarehe Sita celebrations, the parade was just smart. Smart to the extent that all people who attended the event were perplexed by the way the parade was formed. But behind this unique formation, there were very serious messages. Messages of peace, messages of hope, and messages of economic development as affirmed by the Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba.
Tarehe Sita is special in our hearts, not only for its historical significance in the eventual NRA victory, but also for the enduring achievements we continue to witness in our nation. As the UPDF, we have worked tirelessly to consolidate the fruits of the liberation struggle, ensuring not only peace and security within our borders, but also supporting our brothers and sisters across the continent.
Muhoozi highlighted many successes that the UPDF has registered over the years, including weakening the allied democratic forces, which was causing havoc in western Uganda, and at the same time also the pacification of Karamoja sub-region.
Recently, I visited the joint forces in DRC, that is UPDF and FADAC, in North Kivu and Ituri provinces. Over the past 3 years, since the launch of Operation Shujaa, the joint forces have severely degraded and dismantled ADF as a fighting force. It has been greatly weakened. We have destroyed their bases and eliminated many of their senior commanders.
And going forward, General Muhoozi affirms UPDF commitment towards continuous maintenance of peace across Uganda and beyond.
Here at home, the security situation throughout the country is calm. We are, however, closely monitoring those who seek to cause trouble for our people, and we will firmly deal with them without fear or favor, according to the law.
This being an election year, General Muhoozi is hopeful that all players will abide by the laws of the country to avoid being caught on the wrong side.
We will also be on the lookout for saboteurs, both within and without. The intelligence services are working overtime to make sure that we are aware of all the evil plans of some of these people.
For now, more successes continue to be registered, including the recent completion of the military referral hospital, which will be commissioned soon, as he alluded to in his remarks.
I'd like to report, Your Excellency, that our long-awaited military referral hospital is going to be opened in the next few months. We shall be calling you to open it. It has been a 7-year delay, but finally we are seeing light.
On his part, President Yoweri Museveni affirmed continuous economic growth.
Suffice it to assert that our philosophical, ideological, and strategic stand
kikulu nnyo okutegeera nti ensonga ezo zonna nga bwe tuze tuzinnyonnyolako
has enabled Uganda to be peaceful all these years. Has enabled Uganda to be peaceful all these years by building a strong army and other state institutions, expanding education and health services, and other health services, modernizing infrastructure, electricity, roads, water, telephone services, internet, ensuring freedom of speech and worship, and emphasizing Pan-Africanism through regional and continental political and economic integration.
With the revival of the 3 T's and 3 C's, he's hopeful that Uganda's economy will grow, with or without oil.
After June,
kakati bwe tunaaba nga tumaliriza omwezi ogwo gw'omukaaga,
our economy will grow by 7.3% without oil.
Ebyenfuna byaffe bijja kukula okweyongerako ebitundu 7 n'obutundu 3 buli 100, naye ng'awo tetunaba kutunuulira ssente zetunaba tujjamu oil.
Without oil, our economy will be growing at about 7.3%. Now, with oil, our rate of growth will go into double digits.
He reiterated Mhosi's words of continuous maintenance of peace in the country without disturbance.
I end this short speech
Oweekitiibwa Pulezidenti amaliriza speech eno
by assuring the people of Uganda, as General Moses has assured you, that the UPDF has all the capacity to protect you, supported by you, as well as protecting your property.
The 44th Tarehe Sita celebrations has ended colorfully here at Chotera. Henry Okroot, UBC.
Thank you, Henry Okroot, for that report. Now, in more news this evening, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, has urged the Asian community in Uganda to encourage more Indian nationals to visit the country. Tayebwa made this appeal while speaking at the 10th Indian Business Forum Uganda held in Kampala. We have the details.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, has highlighted the vast business opportunities available in Uganda's tourism sector and encouraged the Indian community to explore investments in the industry.
India, now you have the largest population in the world, okay? So why can't you help lobby for more tourists to come from India and visit Uganda? Let them come and see our beautiful, our beautiful forests, visit our beautiful national parks, enjoy our nature, be an ambassador of this beautiful country.
Tayebwa also emphasizes Uganda's fertile agricultural land and called upon the Indian community to consider investing further in the sector.
We need more value addition in agriculture. We are importing a lot of food coming from abroad. You ask yourself, it's a very big shame to hear that there is a war in Ukraine, and because of that war, Ugandans are starving. It's a huge shame. Because you hear Rolex is up, what is up, because there is a war in Ukraine. Really?
trade between Uganda and India has grown steadily, rising from $800 million in 2021 to $940 million in 2023. However, the Director General of the Indian Business Forum, Rajesh Kumar, believes Uganda has the potential to increase its exports to India, especially in value-added agricultural products.
We have requested the Ministry of Energy to basically cut the cost of energy, so the goods which reach to the end users should cut the price, so the goods can be cheaper.
The State Minister for Investment, Evelyn Anite, who also attended the event, shared advice with Ugandans on how to succeed in business, drawing lessons from the Indian business community.
Ugandans have to learn a succession plan. The way the Indians do their business is that they grade their children to learn how to do the business. So the business does not only live with one generation, it moves from one generation to the other. What happens in Uganda is that once the vision bearer or the person who started the business is deceased, the business cannot continue.
During NAM, you saved us embarrassment.
Business magnate Sudhir Ruparelia was honored with the Lifetime Achievers Award for his contributions to Uganda's business sector. He also shared insights on how to thrive in business.
Not only in Uganda, anywhere in the world, pursue your dreams and your vision. Don't give up.
Diano Olwen Peters, UBC News in Kampala.
Great work and excellence.
Uganda's economic activity continues to strengthen, driven by a significant recovery in industrial activity, a stable microeconomic environment, and foreign direct investment towards the extractive sector, says Dr. Michael Atingiego, the Deputy Governor, Bank of Uganda. However, the central bank cautions that Uganda's growth outlook remains uncertain due to various internal and external challenges.
Welcome to the reading of the Monetary Policy Statement for the month of February 2025.
Speaking at the release of the Monetary Policy Committee statement for February 2025, Dr. Atingiego, the Deputy Governor, Bank of Uganda, noted that while Uganda's economy remains resilient, the overall risks of the country's growth outlook are skewed to the downside.
Inflation could be higher than projected if, 1, the domestic growth is stronger, driven by increased investments in the extractive industry, particularly mining and drilling, and effective government program implementation. Also, the geopolitical conflicts could escalate, disrupting the global supply chains further. In addition, extreme weather events and long-term environmental shifts affect agricultural output, which could result into price hikes.
In response to the prevailing economic conditions, the central bank has therefore decided to maintain the central bank rate at 9.75% to support economic stability.
The rediscount rate is 12.75% and the bank rate is at 13.75%. The MPC believes that the current CBR level is adequate to control inflation while fostering Uganda's economic growth and socio-economic transformation.
The central bank also expressed concerns about the potential impact of global economic shifts on Uganda's economy. Specifically, spending cuts, new tariffs and policy changes by the US government are being monitored for their possible impacts.
Core inflation remains elevated in US, and so the challenge with that, or the effect of that on Ugandan economy, is that you tend to have a situation where portfolio investors who wanted to bring in money would say, okay, if the Fed is likely to maintain their rates high, why should we bring the money into Uganda? Like a pause in terms of capital inflows.
Exchange rate also depends on the import content of some of these aid. If the import content was quite big, maybe it may not. But if government were to take on board some of these services, it means that the demand for foreign currency to continue the importation of this would go up. And depending on the magnitude, it could have a slight impact on the currency. Despite these challenges, Bank of Uganda remains optimistic about Uganda's economic outlook.
The economy is projected to grow between 6 and 6.5% in the financial year 2024-25, with expectations of 7.0% growth in subsequent years. Maureen Babidie for UBC.
Now, with the Uganda National Examinations Board set to release the first results of O-level students soon under the competence-based curriculum, we explore the expected grading criteria from a teacher's perspective. Take a look.
The competence-based curriculum was rolled out in Uganda in February 2020 for lower secondary schools in this country. This prompted a shift in the grading system. Previously, under the old curriculum, the best candidates scored 10 in 10, having passed all the 10 subjects with distinction 1s, or 8 in 8 for the best 8 subjects. At Bobita Seed Secondary School in Bududa District, Mr. Fungo Wilson, the deputy head teacher, sheds light on the new grading approach. Students will be graded as outstanding with a score of 3, moderate with a score of 2, and best with a score of 1. These scores will guide student placement for further education.
These learners, at the end of the 4 years, we expect them to graduate as either very outstanding learners, which sometimes they call accomplished, and that one is represented by the score 3. Then there is a moderate learner. Of course, after doing all the assessment, there will be somebody who will be moderate. Then there will be somebody who is basic.
UNEB is expected to provide narrations when awarding these scores to assist in students' progression beyond O-level. Outstanding students can seamlessly progress to A-level and university, while moderate performers will follow a similar path. Best level students may be guided towards vocational courses, leveraging practical skills acquired through the curriculum.
All learners will be measured with those 3 identifiers, 1, 2, and 3. 3, these will be very genius learners who can, if unable to or have the potential, can proceed to go to A-level. I think accompanied with moderate. Those that are, because in the moderate section, there are people who have got 70, 60. So you can't take those people to vocational schools. They are still equally genius, maybe because of one reason or the other. They were unable to make it to an outstanding category. So some category there will also join, maybe say A-level. Then with the basic, we are going to the narration they will have given there, which is 1, basic, which is 1. That 1, those are the learners. They will critically look at what are they able to do. If somebody is good at woodwork, they will be taken for a carpentry course.
Crispus Arenitwe, UBC News.
Thank you, Crispus. Now, the Ministry of Information, Communications and Technology and National Guidance has launched a platform to register innovators and skilled professionals, aiming to match them with employment opportunities both locally and internationally. This was revealed by the Permanent Secretary of ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Amina Zawede, along the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, Chief Representative during the signing of the Uganda Intellectual Protocol Guidelines. Now, these guidelines are designed to register and protect investors' ideas.
IP guidelines. A round of applause.
The signing of Uganda Intellectual Protocol Guidelines between ICT and JICA is a key achievement of the UJ Connect project, which aims to establish a regulatory framework for governing ICT innovation.
So if these people have their intellectual property registered, then even their bargaining power is higher, or even their exposure is higher. So, and on the platform where we are registering them, if someone does not have their intellectual property registered, then that is one of the means that will hinder their verification on the system being done very fast. So we are encouraging them to do that.
UG Connect has achieved significant milestones, including capacity building initiatives for ICT staff and public officials.
The project set out to strengthen the ICT ecosystem in Uganda through establishing the growth model for the ICT software and sector. It's now mid-term of the 4-year project. Time flies fast, and we have registered substantial progress on all the 4 pillars of the project, including developing skill set standards for prioritized areas of human resource development.
We have been able to do a number of trainings for both the instructors here at UICT, which is our training institution under the ministry, but we have also trained several and many innovators and young people. We have also done business matching between companies in Japan and startup companies here. We have seen innovators go to represent Uganda at the Global IT Expo in Dubai, and these innovators who really did well were given awards.
However, the project has faced challenges, particularly in gathering accurate data and information relevant to Uganda's ICT sector.
It needs to be compiled and consolidated. So we are in consultation with you both to ensure that this data is put in one place so that we can build up a database of the ICT that will be used for ICT policy formulation and monitor the progress of the digital transformation roadmap.
UG Connect is a 4-year Uganda-Japan collaboration that has been in operation for 2 years. The initiative seeks to establish a thriving ICT ecosystem that will drive economic growth, job creation, and technological advancements in Uganda. Winnie Ainembabazi Katwire and Kalisha Stephen for UBC.
Now, Uganda is set to host the 6th meeting of the Regional Ministerial Forum on Migration. The Minister of State for Labour, Employment and Industrial Relations, Esther Anyakun, says the forum is slated for the 10th to the 13th February under the theme Reframing the Narrative. We have the details.
Uganda is to host the 6th meeting of the Regional Ministerial Forum on Migration that aims at harmonizing migration policies and also address labor migration issues in East Africa and the Horn of Africa at large early next week.
Why we're having this kind of meetings is to make sure that we have regular, safe pathways where how people go in a very correct manner and safe for them.
As IOM, we have no doubt that enhancing collective actions on labour migration matters through strong cooperation and coordination of regional states and is worth giving every effort for.
The refugees from DR Congo and South Sudan have especially been catered for due to their big numbers, and an open door policy has been made for the migrants.
Around 97 individuals that have arrived so far, 91 through Nyakabande and then 6 through Matanda.
Meanwhile, workers that travel under registered agencies of Uganda will be given a life insurance, unlike their fellows that travel under unregistered agencies.
Also insurance, yes. This insurance has not been very clear. It has not been very mandatory according to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So when I was there last week, it is one thing that they are putting it very, very clear to all migrant workers that are going to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They will be insured as long as they go through the right licensed companies that go through our EMIS system and the Musanet system. Those ones will be insured.
Mario Nawori for UBC.
Rubirizi district in western Uganda is experiencing a severe drought exacerbated by climate change, forcing residents to encroach on wetlands, which is against Uganda's environmental policy.
Rubirizi District Environment Officer Patrick Agaba says
farmers' neighboring swamps have invaded and degraded ecological delicate areas for cultivation and animal grazing due to persistent dry spells. The Nyakajenzi wetland, for instance, has been transformed into farmland. However, he emphasizes that residents need to recognize the ecological importance of wetlands to their livelihoods.
As one of the effects of climate change, we continue to experience a decrease in the water resources. We continue to have prolonged droughts, and we continue to have erratic rains. So we have to step up our strategies so that climate change doesn't bow us down.
The current dry spell in Rubirizi has prompted the Worldwide Fund for Nature to support the district's effort to address the situation. The communications officer from Worldwide Fund, Happy Ali, noted that climate change hinders development. He encouraged all stakeholders to engage youth to guard and learn how to conserve the environment for their better future.
As WWF Uganda, we believe that the distractions that are happening in wetlands and the conservation areas or protected areas are happening right now. But their impact might not be right now or might be there right now when it is still small, which is something that will happen in the future. And in the future, the young generation, their future will be destroyed now.
At Chichwamba High School, Amelia Nyakato shared her experience of joining the school's nature club to learn more about climate change and inspire tree planting initiatives.
Those nature clubs, they have helped a lot. They have educated us about conservation and climate change. They have also helped us, they have inspired us. So like me, they inspired me to take quick action, meaning action planting trees at my home, educating people about the importance of the vegetation, stop people and tell them not to pollute, deforestation, to reduce and use other means of of resources.
The Minister of State for Water and Environment, Beatrice Anywar, visited Rubirizi and handed over fingerlings to some of the farmers as startup capital instead of encroaching on land, and also to educate farmers about alternative methods of utilizing wetlands. She added that they will continue to guide farmers and give alternative ways of generating income rather than destroying the environment.
His Excellency the President has been very, very clear that we engage the communities who have invaded our wetlands, which are water granary, the one for balancing our weather, you know, the effect of climate change, and therefore those who have invaded our environment, our wetlands, we engage them and give them alternative livelihood.
On World Wetlands Day, President Yoweri Museveni emphasized the importance of wetlands in rainfall formation, highlighting that this year government will focus on preventing and conserving the wetlands. Moses Muthabali compiled this story for UBC.
All right, now UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return with more stories after these messages.
Here's your chance to win school fees for your child for a whole year. Just pay school fees using Momo. Dial *165 *80#. Select option 2 for school pay. Select option 1 to pay school fees. Enter the student number and amount and approve the transaction. You are now entered a draw to win school fees.
Agriculture is Uganda's economic backbone, employing about 70% of the working population and contributing 20% of the GDP. As the world becomes a digital global village, ICT has proven to increase productivity in the agricultural value chain. UKUSAF, through its Strategic Plan 3, recognizes the importance of access and usage of ICT-based tools, information and knowledge for farmers by providing them the needed skills to live, learn, work and participate in a digital society.
We came up with a project which we took to UKSAF, and we're happy that UKSAF supported it. That project is called ICT for Farmers. What do we get from ICT for Farmers? We managed to skill up to 100,000 farmers.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukoto Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor.
Welcome back from that break. We're glad that you're still with us this evening. Now in more news, construction of the long-awaited standard gauge railway begins next month without fail. Now Works and Transport Minister General Edward Katumba Wamala has already briefed Prime Minister Robert Nabanja on the project's progress. Now, the government awarded the contract to Turkish firm Mackenzie, currently building a similar railway for Dar es Salaam to Mwanza in Tanzania. Now, according to Finance Ministry official Moses Kagwa, funding has been secured from development partners with 2.7 million euros allocated for the 4-year project. Now, land acquisition is complete with 1,600 acres compensated.
In November 2024, President Yoweri Museveni commissioned the long-awaited construction of the standard gauge railway from the Kenyan border Maraba to Kampala. The government awarded the contract to a Turkish company, Mackenzie, currently is constructing the same from Dar es Salaam to Mwanza in Tanzania. This morning, the Works and Transport Minister General Edward Katumba Wamala briefed the Prime Minister Robert Nabanja about the progress of the project.
We are targeting the actual construction to start by February this year. We have already got the right of way. Not February, March. We already got the right of way. We have enough space or enough distance for the contractor to start. The contractor is here himself with his team. They are now doing preliminary investigations to see how they are going to start, and also bring in their equipment, because they have a lot of equipment to bring in.
According to the Director Economic Affairs in the Ministry of Finance, Moses Kagwa, government has already secured funds from the development partners to kickstart on the project. Government is expected to spend 2.7 billion euros for the 4 years project.
The money is already budgeted for. Yes, within our budget over the medium term, getting some money from external borrowing from export credit agencies, which is about 1,620 million euros. Then we have the development financial institutions like ADB, World Bank, 675. Then we shall also use treasury bonds.
Through Ministry of Finance, we have already received what we call funds for the limited notice to proceed, LNTP, and so we have the funds, the about $75 million. It will be mainly for cargo. It may have limited wagons. Yes, limited passenger wagons, but it's mainly for cargo, because we want to remove as much cargo from the road as possible to protect our roads, because these roads are deteriorating at a very fast pace because of the cargo.
This will also help us to reduce on the accidents. And those people want to move faster. I believe this one will take just an hour. If we spend...
Passengers is 120 kilometers per hour.
So how many hours will it take from Maraba?
2 hours.
About 2 hours.
But you know the traffic jam here. People spend a full day. That would be really good.
Recently, The Prime Minister of Uganda, Robin Nabanja, visited Tanzania, and she was taken to a guided tour of what Tanzania has done on the standard gauge railway.
And they told me for them, they used a loan, I'm told from Exim. Yes, but most of the monies were raised locally.
According to the Minister of Works and Transport, they have secured a right-of-way of 60 meters wide and over 1,600 acres of land already compensated.
The Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, has informed Parliament that the deadline for the voter update exercise remains the 10th of February. However, an extension may be considered if the exercise is not completed by this date. While presenting a statement on the voter update exercise on the floor of Parliament and responding to the report from the Legal Committee as directed by Deputy Speaker Thomas Tayebwa, Mao stated that the Electoral Commission will implement the recommendations in the report to the fullest extent possible.
The Deputy Speaker Thomas Tayebwa has noted that the recommendations from the Legal Committee regarding the ongoing voter registration exercise contravene Article 62 of the Constitution, which affirms the independence of the Electoral Commission. As a result, the report was not adopted, but was instead forwarded to the EC. Tayebwa ruled that the Minister for Justice, Norbert Mao, should address Parliament on the ongoing voter verification exercise.
By the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development in providing funds to NIRA to procure the new 5,500 biometric enrollment kits, data center and equipment, and the new NCI system has affected the carrying out of the voter verification process in a timely and efficient manner.
Recommendations we are making here, we are telling the Electoral Commission, go adjust boundaries, extend the deadline, do what? It's in contravention of Article 62, Chair.
When we are going about this, if we are giving advisory recommendation, they can be given on matters of principle. The moment you start telling them how to conduct a particular function, we may cross the line.
The report from the Sectoral Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs recommended that the EC consider extending the deadline for the voter verification exercise due to challenges encountered in the process. According to the EC, only 2,703 biometric enrollment kits were deployed for the exercise instead of the required 5,000. Many of these kits are outdated and prone to frequent breakdowns, hindering the smooth execution of voter registration. Mao emphasized that the EC chairperson informed him that an extension of the deadline would only be considered if the exercise remains incomplete by 10 February.
The chairman told me that should the 10th February arrive when the exercise has not been completed, the Electoral Commission will announce measures for redress. For now, 10th February remains the deadline.
One of the EC was declaring that they will not extend and they will not extend. And this has caused the panic among the people who have not registered and they are due for registration.
No, there's no way you can say we pronounce ourselves, for example, on extension before we review what we've gotten from the field. So let them first review, but for now, we encourage all Ugandans to go and register.
Leader of Opposition Joel Senyonyi appreciated the minister's response, but pointed out several issues left unaddressed, particularly concerning the demarcation of electoral areas.
Understand how the Electoral Commission did that some councillors within the urban centres, where there were 3 councillors, now there's going to be 1 councillor. Is it because the population has lessened there?
Some members of Parliament reacted to the statement based on their assessment of the voter update exercise in their respective constituencies.
In the current demarcation, they have collapsed all the 5 into only 1. The Madis have been stopped from going to attend to the exercise or be registered.
Not really about the census. It is about who is qualified to vote. I want to state here, Mr. Speaker, that I was not counted in the last census, but I'm on the voters register.
The report also recommended that the EC should verify citizenship by consulting the National Identification and Registration Authority (NIRA) and use only registered persons possessing national IDs and NINs as mandated by Section 66 of the Registration of Persons Act. The committee advised that the EC should discontinue the involvement of DSOs, PSOs and GISOs in the verification exercise, citing legal and administrative redundancy. Mao acknowledged that this is a matter requiring further discussion.
The security officials are meddling. I think that's a matter that we can have to deal with, because for long we have insisted that the Electoral Commission must be in charge and must be seen to be in charge.
Justice and Constitutional Affairs Minister Norbert Mao assured that the EC is actively assessing the exercise in the field and will provide updates to the country. I'm Nafka Farid and Gloria Gwitabinji at Parliament.
Parliament has passed a second supplementary budget, increasing the total of the budget for this financial year from 72.136 trillion to 74.429 trillion shillings. This supplementary of 1.243 trillion comes weeks after the House passed an extra budget of 1.51 trillion shillings. The fresh extra budget is to cater for expenses after a revision of work plans for the affected institutions under the rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure. The budget was passed amid a high objection from a section of the members in the opposition.
Policy on rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure, most institutions have registered challenges in their respective budgets. Accordingly, 6 institutions require that their former budget is transferred to the final destinations. 5 require reallocations, and some, which called for creation of new departments, required fresh subventions.
Honorable Speaker, we are required to reallocate budgets and revise the work plans.
This called for a supplementary of a tune of 1.243 trillion shillings, including recurrent of 297.06 billion, development of 940.097 billion, and statutory of 7.066 billion. The votes under recurrent budget requiring transfer of funds include NIRA, which accommodated the civil registration services, Uganda National Meteorological Authority, UNIMA, under the Ministry of Water and Environment, UNRA and Uganda Road Fund under the Ministry of Works and Transport, among others.
I would like to remind colleagues, Registrations Bureau transferring to NIRA, according to them that they are moving from a lower salary scale area to a higher scale salary scale. So their request was to have an additional 713 million for wage. The committee said no, at this stage, we are not addressing that. We are addressing the reallocation of already voted monies.
This supplementary has been passed amid opposition as some MPs objected additional funds, yet RAPEX was moved to reduce expenditure.
But you find in full disregard of the law and the dictates of the Constitution, we rush to rubber stamp a supplementary budget which should have gone through a process where the issues being proposed are reviewed and are aligned to a chart of fiscal responsibility and government development plans. This was not done.
In my humble opinion, there would be no need going through the due processes under Rule 153. The reason why I have moved under Rule 16, that 153, 3, 4, and 5 be suspended in order for us to proceed.
This accused the presiding officer of being biased.
You remember that during the supplementary for the motion for Rocco, he did the same thing. And the most unfortunate thing is that Parliament and members of Parliament were not allowed to exercise their mandate in proposing reductions and amendments to the figures as proposed for supply.
I had some members saying we don't want this money to be passed for roads to be worked on and so on. No, that's not our issue. We want roads to be worked on, we want healthcare to be attended to. That's why we produce a good alternative budget saying, can we allocate money to these areas? But what we are saying is we want money to be passed
the right way, and then eventually properly accounted for. So they should stop blackmailing us, saying you don't want this money to be passed.
Minister Musasizi defends the process, saying that the procedures have been well followed and harmonized at both the committee level and plenary. Musasizi educated the critics on the procedures that did not call for new funding, but instead shift funds from the affected agencies.
And basically what we reported was the harmonized position, with nearly all the members who attempted to oppose the motion. What were we seeking? We were not seeking anything new. We were seeking to move money from the votes which collapsed because of rationalization to take money where the functions have gone. So there is nothing that required gunpoint or anything. It was something normal.
Musasizi criticized the issue of derailing the presiding officer on unwanted procedure.
And not fair. For some of our colleagues stand procedure, even when there is no major point to put across.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
The Uganda Revenue Authority has suspended over 80 of its staff in the Department of Customs in a move to enhance efforts on combating customs delays as well as corruption in tax compliance. This was revealed after a closed meeting held with the Association of Clearing and Forwarding Agents held in Kampala.
On a journey to take stringent actions on the tax leakages and delays in the customs duty.
Today, part of what we discussed, and we even showed the evidence, are the staff that we have recently lost in the Department of Customs alone, 81, 84, because of corruption. It is sad to lose 84 from one department because of one sickness, corruption. But it takes two to tango. So we've agreed that these that work with our staff to facilitate this corruption must also answer. And one of the steps we take is to delicense them. We take away your license, which stops you from having that business. But if that is not enough, we will also prosecute you, because prosecution is there to punish those who break the law.
The Acting Commissioner Customs, Asadu Chiuzi, revealed that over 340 billion shillings has been recovered over the past 5 years alone.
In terms of misdeclaration, undervaluation, concealment, and outright smuggling. So, and as well as diversion of transit cargo onto the local market. So if there were no other measures to make sure that we will promote compliance, that amount of over 340 billion in 5 years would have been lost.
The Commissioner General revealed that 60 clearing agents have been denied licenses due to integrity questions.
But among the 315 who are not yet licensed, there are those who are over 60 under investigation for matters related to corruption. And whereas they had passed the test for the other parameters that would allow them to have licenses, they are still held until investigation to prove they were not part and parcel of the corruption.
The authority is committed to take more effective steps to enhance efficiency and integrity, promoting compliance of the customs agents. Cayenne Faith, Mike Bakabulindi for UBC.
Lillian! Lily flower!
Osmosis.
The cedar bus of beauty, the power bank of my heart, the sugar of my milk tea.
I'm glad you're here. Today buy for us some chicken.
No problem. You can eat whatever you want. I had already ordered. How much? 122. 122? Now, what if I take this one and this one? And can I also borrow this one? How much now?
When your money is not enough, don't hassle. We're sorting it with MTN Momo. Use the Momo app or dial *165 *5# to add call with Momo Advance and pay.
Government of Uganda presents Post Buses in Uganda, operated by Posta Uganda. We specialize in professional transport, courier and vehicle hire services across Uganda. Our routes include Kampala Masaka Mbarara Kabale Chisoro, Kampala Mukono Jinja Mbale via Tirinyi Road Soroti Lira, and Kampala Luwero Kamudini Gulu Kitgum. Our main offices are located at the Post Office Head Office on Kampala Road, with booking services available at counters 23 and 24 at the General Post Office. You can also book at designated district post offices along our routes. For inquiries or bookings, please contact us on 0751 684 184. Posta Uganda. We deliver trust.
Welcome back from that break, and now into business. Kiboga district has taken a major step towards financial inclusion following a groundbreaking announcement by Centenary Bank in partnership with local leaders. Now, the initiative, unveiled during a special event, aims to bridge the long-standing financial gap in the district by expanding banking services. Speaking at the event, a Centenary Bank official highlighted the bank's commitment to empowering local communities. Local leaders hailed the move as a game changer for farmers, traders and small businesses, marking a new era of economic opportunity in Kiboga.
The business in Kiboga, mainly it's agriculture. We support our customers who do both agric production and marketing. Then we also serve the people who do cattle fattening.
Nawe mukimanyi nti banka eno tekola bukozi kubawula oba kutereka sente zammwe, naye temugiyambye n'okuweereza empaya ya gavumenti. Kale n'olwekyo tubeebaza, twagala okweyama nti tujja kwongera okubaweereza. Nga mukyo tukimanyi nti tetulina kyattunzi kirala kyonna kye tukola okuggyako obwesige. Tugezaako buli kaseera okulaba nti tulungamya obwesigwa, sente zo nga bw'ogiterese bw'ojja ogisanga. Tetuliwo nti kye tukola kuba nti tubawa ssente oba nakuzibakuumira, nga bwe ŋŋambye ekikulu ennyo kye tulina okubawa bwe bwesigwa, trust. Era tugezaako kizimba buli kaseera, buli lukya. Olumu mubeerawo obuzibuzibu, ebyuma bikalimagezi bivuddeko oba biri wansi. Mukimanye nti ffe tuba tugezaako buli kaseera okulaba nti tubikwatamu ne biba nga bisobola okukola. Era twebaza abakulu, diocese board, babishop, abatukubiriza n'okugezaako okukola nti ssente tutadde nnyingi nnyo mu bintu nga technology.
Now, civil society organizations have raised concern over the low level of youth participation in Uganda's electoral process as the country prepares for the upcoming general elections. During the launch of a report by the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung on the form and substance of the 2021 general elections, the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, reaffirmed the government's commitment to adopting some of the report's recommendations to enhance the country's electoral framework.
Gears up for the 2025 general elections. Research indicates that less than 5% of the youth actively vote or participate in the electoral process, despite being the country's largest demographic group. This aspect calls for increased civic education and a deeper engagement with young people to boost their electoral participation.
Youth are sensitized
are mentored and nurtured to appreciate the impact that is caused when they do not actively engage in politics, I believe they would also come on board and be active in the space. So sensitization is a very key issue.
The number of youths who are already 18, but they are not coming in to be registered for voting. Why? Because they see that the electoral process may not bring out their desired outcome. So we must work on that.
During the report launch by Conrad at the new shift tank, key recommendations were made to ensure credible elections in Uganda. These include establishing an independent electoral commission, banning fundraising activities during election campaigns to curb financial influence, enforcing stricter measures against public servants engaging in political activities.
Politicians who buy them soap and buy them oil and sugar and so on and so forth, because they don't know why they're voting and who they're voting for. So the criteria of who should lead and why they should lead are not very clear.
Is sufficient to legitimize the winners and the political system as well. As the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, we are committed to our mission, shaping democracy together.
The Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, disclosed that several reforms bills, including the Electoral Commission Amendment Bill, the Parliamentary Elections Amendment Bill, and the Political Parties and Organizations Amendment Bill, have already been presented to Cabinet. He awaits feedback on these proposed reforms.
Citizens believe that Parliament is too big. Citizens believe that we need an upper house. Those are reforms, but realistically they may not come in the short run. So it is my duty as the Minister to take the proposals to the Cabinet. We have already compiled all the proposals. My duty is simply to take them to the Cabinet. Then the Cabinet will determine when the reforms will go to Parliament. Like I told you, the one on making electronic voting compulsory is still before Cabinet. So there are things that are in my hands, there are things that are not in my hands.
The report further emphasizes the need for stringent sanctions against human rights violators as part of the efforts to create an enabling environment for political participation in the country. Robert Katamba for UBC News.
The Uganda Human Rights Commission, UHRC, established under Article 51 of Uganda's Constitution, protects and promotes human rights through receiving, investigating, and holding tribunals to award damages for human rights violations, conducting research, civic education, monitoring detention centers, government compliance with treaty obligations, and presents an annual human rights report to Parliament. As part of its advocacy strategy, the UHRC last year commemorated the International Human Rights Day on 10th December under the theme, Reducing Inequalities in the Enforcement of Environmental Rights and Mitigating the Impact of Environmental Degradation in Uganda. Activities included a press conference led by Chairperson Honorable Mariam Wagadia, TV and radio talk shows, a newspaper supplement. The main event was a high-level public dialogue at Golf Course Hotel with the third Deputy Prime Minister, Right Honorable Rukia Isanga Nakadama, as a chief guest. Key stakeholders in attendance included the EU Deputy Ambassador to Uganda, the UN Women Country Representative, the Japanese Ambassador to Uganda, representatives of heads of government ministries, departments and agencies. The dialogue focused on advocating for environmental rights. It was supported by various partners.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. more. Come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful kids water park. We are located on Arua Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Arua City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotelconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
What's your plan for Valentine's? And no, don't say the farm stuff.
All right, but just hear me out. What if I told you that I can grow you something better than roses?
Better than roses? Okay, I want to hear this. You're actually making Valentine's a farming expo.
No, I'm turning it into our future.
Oh, thank you. But this, I agree, love.
Agree, love.
These Valentines, forget the cliches. Grow something real at the Harvest Money Expo, February 14th to 16th at Nambole Stadium. Learn innovative ways to boost your produce, adopt more efficient methods, and gain access to new markets. Tickets are just 10,000 shillings per day, with training sessions also at 10,000 shillings each.
Back and now into sports. Uganda's national netball team, the She Cranes, has lost 41-39 to a select mixed gender team in a friendly game hosted at the Score Leisure Centre in Stratford, England. We have the details.
With just 3 days to a return to action in the 2025 Vitality Netball Nations Cup in England, Uganda's national netball team, the She Cranes, has lost 41-39 to a selected mixed gender team at the Score Leisure Centre in Stratford. The She Cranes has so far lost to both South Africa and Malawi and must put a stop to that sequence in the final Vitality Netball Nations Cup group game against England at the Copper Box Arena in London this Saturday.
According to today's friendly, I think they've been very okay, though we had lost to them, I think, by 2 goals. At least we have tried to pick up like so many positives, which we think like in case if we can apply all of them on Saturday's game to make at least a big difference. First and foremost, they are men. Of course, you cannot compare men with ladies, though they have beaten us by 2 goals. But me personally, I think our guys have done at least better. With me personally, as a captain, I think it will bring for us a better game in case we can apply whatever we go for this friendly today.
As it stands in the 2025 Vitality Netball Nations Cup, South Africa, that has won 2 games, tops the standings, with England that beat Malawi and lost to South Africa second. Malawi, that beat Uganda, is third, ahead of the final round of games in which bottom-placed Uganda faces England, while Malawi dates South Africa on Saturday. The tournament will climax on Sunday with the top-placed team in the round robin playing number 2 for the gold, as third and fourth seek the bronze medal. But before all this, the She Cranes play another friendly against Northern Ireland on Thursday. The Vitality Netball Nations Cup is an England netball initiative during which they invite global top-ranked nations to contest a 2-week-long netball extravaganza, usually played at 2 venues, with the first weekend in Nottingham and the climax in London.
And with that, UBC News Tonight has come to an end, but do join us at 10 o'clock for our second edition of UBC News Tonight. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimotoi. See you at 10.